Now, let's look at behavior modifications for the auditory, musical, social, solitary, verbal, and linguistic learners. For these guys, all significant data should go through the ear. Reading aloud, teaching aloud, the main source of their learning comes through the ear. Again, remember, at teaching your child, we're not saying that you only teach to these learning styles. But when you have a learner whose main learning style is this, if you're familiar with it, then you can really reach them and then start to branch them out to incorporate all of their learning styles to make them stronger so that they become more of a dynamic learner. For an auditory, musical, social, solitary, verbal, linguistic learner, the main stuff, make sure it goes to the ear. Avoid long paper assignments. It is the killer of all ambition. Long paper assignments can make the brightest child turn into a monster. So sometimes it's better to just give a long oral assignment. Maybe they need to recite it or discuss it with you orally. But the long paper assignments, not always the best work you're going to get. Avoid long silent reading. Silent reading is important, but long periods are not necessarily what they're able to do right off the bat. This is something you can build up toward. Use groups and teams wherever you can. Sometimes it's helpful if you have a co-op, you can do this. If you don't have a co-op, but you know a couple other homeschool moms, get together with them. If the girls or the sons can maybe doing something similar, maybe they can get together in a group to work together. So sticking with these types of learners, giving tests orally can be so incredibly helpful. I've had a lot of auditory learners come through my doors and they feel as though they are terrible at math. And reality was, if they told me the problem out loud, they were able to do it very well. If they had to write it down, something got lost in the transference. So when you're starting out and you're really trying to reach to a child, give test orally. Written instructions should be repeated orally. So if you're giving a paper and you're sending them off to do independent work, make sure you go over it orally before they start. Allow a child to explain things orally to you. We kind of just went over this. And again, it's an idea that is worth repeating several times. An auditory learner, a musical learner, a social learner, a solitary learner, a verbal learner, a linguistic learner is going to do much better when they can do things orally. They can describe themselves. And then you can build up to writing assignments. Graph paper is a wonderful invention. It helps keep everything visually organized. These types of learners that work in the temporal lobe, they visually are not going to be bothered by messes, and they're not going to really see that their work is very sloppy. So graph paper helps keep all of it organized.